Here we go. And in a 3. And a 2. And a 1. It's Sunday, May 3rd, right? Did I get that right? 3rd? Yeah.
Yes.
2020. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Don't hurt nobody with your bad self.
And welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Adventure and Length, episode number 552. You know, COLDR has like 7 more episodes till your 100th episode.
Yay.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say you have 7 more episodes of this season, and I was going to be like, no. I'm thinking it's like 4.
Yeah, so
Yes,
Maybe 5.
3 or 4.
So anybody who wants to celebrate the 100th episode of COL Drag Race, it's not going to be until the next Drag Race season.
Well, maybe we'll do a special commercial of some sort.
Yeah, we'll see.
David, you crack me up. You make it sound like you were just not having it.
Like, woohoo!
Yay! All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we may be in May, but we're going to talk about April, so... I want to be clear on something here.
Uh-oh.
So I'm titling this, Wow, Lots of D&D. Thing is, it's not that I played lots of D&D. I watched a lot of D&D. Because I had 2 weeks off from my regular game of D&D. First one, because people couldn't make it. And the second one because of a lost puppy.
Aw.
But I watched a shit ton of D&D this month.
Okay.
It's like, because I'm at home and I can basically just pull up anything on, I just pulled up High Rollers and just watched everything of theirs.
Okay.
And just like, that's basically all that's been in the background of everything I've been doing while I've been at home this entire time. While I've been not working and during my lunch breaks, I've been playing WoW. Got caught up on a few things that I'm like, I started my one rotation, then I'm like, I'm getting bored of this and it's taking long and I don't want to do this part, so I'm doing something else, which is running Mythic Warlords of Draenor raids and working on collecting my transmog from that. So I've been cycling through all 36 of my main characters to try to collect everything. I am not an alcoholic. What, doesn't everybody have a spreadsheet of all their characters?
No. No.
No. Okay. I thought that this was the normal thing. I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, everybody's allowed to have their passion.
Mm-hmm.
So some people may be fanatical, about very specific things. That's perfectly fine.
It's all good. You can stand for WoW.
Yeah. So that's WoW. Lots of D&D.
Ding.
Welcome to quarantine. Oh, my mom Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit! Yeah, I didn't think about that before the show. Mine are downstairs.
My mom made me masks.
Ooh. No, we can't see them right now.
Let me see if I can get you at least.
No, it's
something.
okay. It's fine. I can watch it when you.
It'll be on the.
It'll be in the live chat.
See?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I got 3 of them. One of them is this Vikings one. So, and I just kind of like.
Ah. Very
I know
cool.
it's probably a little hard to see considering I don't have a second camera to show, but I got 3 masks for my mom, so I'm not using a big old bandana wrapped around my face when I go out.
Ah. Very cool. Very cool.
So I got a gift from my mom, and of course my mom nagging me about certain things, and I'm like, Mom, I'm fine. And it doesn't help that our family friends in Cedar Park just got a new puppy, and they're running the old the mom and dad ragged. So, but nowadays I can't be like, I'll come visit. I'll be on the mom, and she can't have her grandchildren over to play with the puppy. But so yeah, that's my life so far. How about you, Damon? What's been going on with you?
Gosh, well, some good news. As everyone is aware, I have been technically unemployed for pretty much about all of the month of April. There were some issues with regards to unemployment and getting that monies in. Well, finally, this past week, those issues have been resolved, and I got like right near the end of the month, I got all of my unemployment monies, and that was a huge weight off my shoulders. I'm much less stressed dealing with that because I was able to, because of everything, not just unemployment, but if you are in unemployment, there's also other aid that is being provided due to the coronavirus. So I was able to receive that, and because of all of that, I was able to pay the bills for the month, which is always good. So I'm happy for that. Glad that it is happening. Glad that I'm still able to afford, things like lights and electricity and mortgage and such. So it was very nice. I usually pay the bills the last day of the month on the 30th to actually be able to pay bills. So I know that's like not a big thing for you, but when you've been unemployed for a while and worried and stressed and having to deal with all the stuff that's been going on this month, it was a blessing. So yay for that shit. Speaking of moms, I also got a call from my mother. She, unfortunately, my sister-in-law's mother had passed away, and not a few weeks ago, her father had passed away. So she's having a rough time, but she wanted to call and let me know, but she also wanted to check in. So we had a very fun, frank conversation Thursday night after we finished recording Drag Race, Gary. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool to hear from her and talk to her. She's doing good. She's fine. I'll put it on, be blunt. I don't worry so much about her going out because she doesn't. So, but she did mention that she doesn't have masks. So my gym has made masks for her. And I'll be mailing them to her here shortly, and Mother's Day and all that stuff. So, but it was a fun conversation. It was nice to get spirits lifted, as it were. It was nice to hear from her, and we had a very just honest, blunt conversation about everything that's been going on. And that was really good to have. So yay for that. And yeah, like I'm staying home. I'm still staying home. And until I hear from work about work and returning, that's pretty much what's going to be happening for a while. So yay to the new normal. That's still the normal.
There's a plus side with having essentials and quote unquote essential jobs that Gary and I have. Gary has an actual essential job. I have a not really essential job, but is essential for a lot of people's families because or sanity, just because TV is a good outlet for a lot of people to keep them occupied and everything. So, but sadly, yours isn't quite as essential, which is sad.
Well, it's okay. I right now, no. Like there's probably not anything, and until further notice, no. Like, but once I will say once things have been relaxed countrywide and stores can open, then maybe I'll get back to work. But I am not holding my breath.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's fair enough.
It'll happen, and I'll get the notice, and I'll be good. Like, I'm not sitting here like stressing out, worrying about it anymore. Because I know it. There's a part of me that believes it will happen. It's just going to take some time, and I'm okay with that. Gary.
So what I hear is you're like, I was okay, then I was not okay, now I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To be, yeah, because it's oh God, yeah. For those like thinking about this, and I salute anyone who is an essential worker that is doing their jobs and is able to work and is out there in many ways on the front lines of all of this shit. Like, because, yeah, they're essentially risking themselves, their health, their well-being every day.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate all those people who do deliveries.
Also that. I appreciate anyone who is like working in restaurants and doing carryouts for them, the people who work at grocery stores. And I went to fucking Walmart yesterday, and I mean, everyone, the good thing it's so they, God, girls, recently they relaxed the face mask thing, so customers coming in to the stores aren't required to wear their mask, but employees are. So kudos to all the employees, because every employee I saw at Walmart yesterday had a mask on. Okay? Not every customer I saw had a mask on. I had a mask on because I ain't playing that shit. And the fact that there were so many people that did not, and were standing in groups and walking around and not paying attention and not staying 6 feet apart. Okay. You do you, boo. I'm going to keep my mask on and keep my social distance and get what I need to get and get the fuck out of there. Like, I'm not playing with this shit. If I had a whole lot of hand sanitizer, I would have carried it with me as well. Because
and just be walking down the house, squirt, rub,
basically
squirt, rub.
Or just get what you need to get and then go. And then as you leave, like, and don't touch yourself, don't touch your face, don't all that fun stuff. Anyway, Gary.
Yeah. It's disappointing to hear that people are not taking things as serious as perhaps they should. Pandemic be damned. you know? It's really upended a lot of things for a great many people. For some individuals, it's not been as heavy as an impact. My coworkers and I, we are considered essential because we're working in what's called the index investigation and contact tracing for cases. And we go into work Monday through Friday, some of us on weekends. We're always answering phone calls and being available and addressing things with the public and dealing with a whole myriad of different things. It's especially of recent people who don't take things seriously. David got a whole earful about this last night. Some of us did a little online gaming, and while I was in the midst of the beginning of that, I was scrolling through Facebook, and lo and behold, there was a lovely news article about somebody locally who decided to not take us seriously and our letter that we delivered to them.
And the quarantine seriously.
Specifically isolation. This individual tested positive, and so quick little breakdown for folks. When it comes to isolation, it is the period in which you specifically are to be isolated from everybody. And we mean everybody. We don't mean just like in your home with your family. We mean in your home away from your family, like in a room by yourself, preferably if you have an available separate restroom, bathroom, that one is also exclusively yours, and that you go through these precautions to prevent any contact and spread of COVID-19. And then out of isolation, you get quarantine, which is for individuals who are called contacts. So let's say that I'm positive of COVID-19 and I was, near Damon, he would be considered a contact. So he gets a different time period that he's supposed to keep himself, away from the public, specifically not from household. Because what we're doing is we're trying to see if, you're going to be symptomatic. So, yeah, we had somebody who was supposed to be on isolation at home and wasn't. So and they got themselves into legal trouble. And, all I got to say is karma. So, I didn't understand what I signed on the letter. That's your excuse? Okay. Because you should really speak up when someone hands you a written document. You should read it. When the sheriff's office is there collecting it, you can ask them. They're happy to explain it. So that was interesting development last night to be like, oh, hell no. And this individual by personality had been problematic, so was not surprised that they that this happened.
Which is also the other worst part of it, because it's like, if you would have just paid attention or done what you need to do, but instead you're going to be a bitch and you get what you got.
Well, and it gets more problematic because we this individual has over 24 contacts. Like the largest to date of all of our individuals that we've been, working on. So, it's like and I'm not saying that it's any better, but if you were a person who only had one contact or lived by yourself and had no contacts possibly, and you decided to just go out anyways, that would be less problematic, but it's really, so yeah.
It's the thing. People are stupid. Just
yeah. So, and it's also a challenge because where we live here in Northwest Pennsylvania, in the state of Pennsylvania, there are 67 counties, 24 of which this coming Friday, May 8th, are going to be moved for what the governor is calling red to yellow. So red is severe, what we called severe mitigation. Yellow is limited mitigation, which is to say some businesses are going to be available to be open. Some restrictions are going to be lifted, but it is not back to normal by any means. And some people are even not happy about that. Like in both sides, they're not happy about the fact that there's potential for more spread. There's also unhappiness because it's not enough. Salons and barbershops are not going to be allowed to be open. And girl, people got to get their hair did. So they are having hissies about that.
I have no idea what people are so concerned about when it comes to hair. I just don't understand.
Well, I'll put it like this. I so for those
also
who
a
I don't
joke.
I know it's a joke, but I just want to say like wear a fucking hat. Pull your hair back. Like bananas. Like it's a thing. Like how do I put this delicately?
Just currently
People
go
don't get
with
people
the
don't
really
give a
short
shit.
hair and wear a hat. That's fine.
People don't give a shit. Like I'm just gonna put it like that. If you are concerned about your fucking hair so much that you want people to work so that they can do your damn hair, then maybe you should just not have hair.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I will say this.
Maybe not shave it entirely off, but if you like grab some clippers or even just some scissors, you just cut it short. Less to worry about. It will grow back. Unless for some reason you have a baldness thing, but if you're bald, you might as well just shave it all off anyways. But that's just me.
Well,
Go ahead, Derek.
Well, I will say this. Not everybody has the skills to handle their own quaff, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I get that. I also will say like hair, what you have on your head and what you do with it is about vanity.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't like to be told that, and they could debate through their last breath and then die, that they would not agree to that, but that's what it's about. Like as it's been famously said many times by RuPaul, like you're born naked and the rest is drag. How you present yourself in your life is your decision. It's your own vanity. It's your own personification. So how you got your due is your decision. So I can understand that people are kind of bent out of shape. Like our local county executive, is a woman, and she gets, she has these press briefings 6 days a week, and about every other day they talk about like the whole barbershop, salon thing. And she's like, trust, I would love to be able to go to my beautician to get my hair taken care of. Like, and don't misunderstand, she hasn't turned into some like, hippie in the woods, with like fray, she keeps herself pretty well, put together. But I just think that I can understand like the difficulty, but I'm not disagreeing with you guys on like do something for yourself or cover it up. In the reality, it's just like deal with it.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of my biggest thing right now. Like, I have hair clippers in my house. I could probably, if I wanted to, go and take care of it, but I'll be honest, I don't feel comfortable doing it. I am not that coordinated. I do not feel like I could do a really good job. And even if it's just an even all the way around, I know it's very simple, but I don't trust myself enough to do it myself. So it will grow. And if I get uncomfortable if I step out of my home, I will put on a fucking hat or wear a scarf or do something or not leave my house. Like I don't need to, like I'm not as like needing to get out as much as I used to be.
You have a partner right there that could do it.
And I
you.
understand that I have a partner.
Just have him put on some clippers. Just join me.
No. I'm going to say something here. Just because you have a partner does not mean they're skilled, let alone that they are able to handle specifically what is going on. I will say this. I have clippers and I cut my dad's hair, and I've even cut my own hair. But no offense, I'm going to put it out there. I'm a white boy. I know nothing about black hair. I don't know how to snatch no edge. I don't know how to like deal with that. So I see you, David. You're drinking all that tea. You just keep sipping and sipping and sipping. Because that's what it's about.
Sometimes that's what it's all about. And I'm not, and that's where I'm going with it. Like, trust. I don't trust myself. I love my partner. I don't think he understands
you don't trust him.
When it comes to
hair,
but not when it comes to hair.
Well, like, there's something I think about a person being near you with razor. Just
also
saying.
that.
It's clippers. You put on a guard and just go and just keep it the same. And you can Having somebody else to look at your head means that they can see those spots that you might miss. You know, compared to what you do it yourself. I'm experienced with doing it, so I know how to feel and use my mirrors to kind of try to get both sides. I don't really care too much about like absolute perfect, but I get pretty damn near it. But I also have a very simple haircut. No guard clippers through the entire thing, which means I don't need a haircut for like 1 or 2 months.
Uh-huh. So I will say, like, I will own my own vanity with this. Once this is done, once barbers and hairdressers and whatever are able to open, I won't say I'll be first in line because
50th.
I ain't waiting like all day to get a damn haircut. But maybe a day or two later, I will go and get my haircut.
Well, so David, my question is, do you have a place that you prefer to go to?
Yes. And it is where I went for several years. It is all the way on the other side of town because it is where I was going when I lived over there. And again, I do not trust anyone else to cut my damn hair. Like,
well, right.
Again.
So the reason I ask is because of like, I don't know if I'm going to presume, but I don't know if you follow them on social media, like have a, kind of a communication awareness. It'll help you for when they do have opportunities, and whether or not they do appointments, or that might be a new measure they put in.
Yeah. They do appointments, but to be blunt, they cost more. So,
well, girl, you just said you got all your unemployment pay. I mean,
you shady bitch.
Dude, I haven't paid for a haircut in probably 20 years.
We get it. You're perfect, Jeff. It's okay. You could do it all yourself. You don't have to.
Except for my sister's.
You don't get to go out in the world. Like everything comes to you.
I know. I'm perfect.
You're not the only one. That being said.
Anyway, that being said, Gary, is there anything else? Since we kind of veered off topic.
I miss the other parts of life.
Ain't that the truth?
Like Saturday nights, a couple of us get together. We do some online game, kind of tabletop based game stuff. We chat.
Gary got quiet.
But
you got really quiet.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about.
While he's working on fixing that, a couple of comments in the chat. Lloyd said, "I haven't cut my hair in 3 months, and I have the worst fro right now."
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, oh man, the barber discussion is the deepest of African, Afro-Caribbean, African American lore.
Yep. Like that is a thing. Like for many people, and I'm just going to say it right now, sometimes when you find a barber, that is your barber for life. Like, unless you like move to another city or you move across the country, then like for some, like you stick with that barber for as long as you can, if that includes life. I don't know so much recently, but I know for many years, my father went to a barber that was 10 miles from our home, 10, 15 miles from when we were, where his home. Mm-hmm. Because he probably started going there when we lived in a house that was maybe a mile away. So, but then when we got a new house and moved to a different neighborhood, he didn't find another barber. No, he went back to this barber.
Well, and I will say this. I have switched barbers in the past year. I still have yet to find somebody. I've been through, this is my fourth actually. No, fifth. 3 of them are all in the same location. That's why I'm forgetting. there are plenty of, like, I will say this, there are plenty of people out there who cut hair. There are plenty of
Mm-hmm.
people out there who can be barbers versus like salon beauticians that, do a variety of other things. Barbering takes a certain kind of thing, but like I have given up on having anybody touch my beard in the city. I'm like, y'all just like, you muck it up. Don't, no, I'll just keep it short until I can get the nerve to grow it out again. It's very challenging. It's very problematic to deal with that. So I understand like going to somebody dedicated. It's also a big pain in the ass to like test other people out and be like, cut my hair, and then be like, nope, that's not what I wanted.
Mm-mm.
Then you're kind of stuck with it or whatever.
You're kind of stuck with it while it grows out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so,
even if you do something simple, there's a nuance to it. There's something like it again, it is a matter like to the biggest extent, it is a matter of vanity. We just talked about it. Like,
right.
You want to look good. So you go and get a haircut by the person or persons that you deem will make you look the best. And you very rarely steer from those people because, again, you don't it's a test if you go to someone else. You don't know that person. Or even if you know that person, you don't know their skill level. And even if you do know, I've been a beautician or whatever for 30 fucking years or what, all that shit. Like, even if you do, like, it is still it is your head and your hair. And
right.
If they mess it up or it's not what you want, then there's issues. It's happened so many times. We know we've had friends that have mentioned it where they've had issues with things that are happen, and the same can be said about beards. Everyone has done, like, we've seen our friends, their friends who take care of their beards on their own, and sometimes they fuck shit up and they got to start over, and all of a sudden, it's all gone, and you're like, oh shit, like, what happened? And it's usually like, the clippers are, the cat jumped on me, and all of a sudden I had to start back to square one. Like,
maybe this is a time where wigs are going to become more in fashion.
That was Thursday night, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
I'm just saying,
Thursday night.
Everybody could just buzz their head and just use the wig. Although I do have to say that I have the lack of interest in hair.
There was a time when that was true. I mean, culturally, but it was also kind of like a hygiene thing, and other stuff along those lines. So yeah, I mean, it's totally, I don't know, it's a possibility, or like I, also agree with you, Jeff. Like, you could just, buzz your hair and just throw a cap on like a wig, change that out as often as you want.
I know, just because African American women who you will never know what their actual hair really looks like because they have a closet full of wigs that they change in and out of as they go out. Like I'm just, yeah.
I know. No. The reason why I'm laughing is I'm thinking about, there was someone I used to work with, and she came in one day with new hair, but I didn't clock it because I wasn't really paying attention. And I thought to myself, oh, that looks really nice. And then like the next day the hair changed. And then I was like, bitch. Here I think she went and got her hair done and had something. No. Yeah. I was like, okay, something. I see you.
I mean, the thing about hair is it's really a thing different between people. I have to say that I find shorter to no hair on a man, at least, and sometimes even with women with the shorter hair, actually more attractive than long hair. I find long hair actually kind of gross. Okay, and a woman that actually looks pretty good at sometimes. But when somebody has a short hair, like Judi Dench, pink, short hair, They look fabulous. Men, totally attracted to very short to no hair. So I personally think, this is just my opinion, not reflection to anybody else in the COL cast or anybody else in the world, is overrated. Except body hair. Body hair is actually kind of nice.
Cool.
On men. Women, iffy. Because I'm not as attracted to them, I don't care as much.
So
yes.
Can we get back on track and move on?
No. It's already been deemed in the live chat. COL552. Hair. That's the show, apparently. Yeah, so my point is like,
just clock that. I put that in there.
My point is that I can understand the to a certain degree the cabin fever stir craziness factor that people are dealing with, because like, yes, I get to go out and I get to go to my job every single day, and I go check on my dad every single day for his well-being, and like make him a meal and make sure he takes his meds. And, like yesterday I call it spa day because it was, let's buzz your hair and give you a shave and, showered and cleaned up. And that's a whole process. For those that don't necessarily know, I don't know if I've said it too much in the past, like my dad has Parkinson's. So he has, mobility, range of motion issues and stuff like that. So it's a whole thing. And I'm becoming more and more his caretaker, which is stressful in a way because like I need to really like find a path to get some assistance. And I recently followed up on something and they're like, well, we don't do any of that. Like, we'll just do physical therapy. And I'm like, it's like, yeah, I need other things. So I got to work on that. But I realized, like the longer this goes, I get why people are like, going to start bouncing off walls because our social outlet stuff is not available.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do anything grand. I mean, don't misunderstand. If I had the opportunity to go and back to New Orleans and see the culture of that place that I love, I would do it like in a heartbeat if I could. But I am perfectly fine with just hanging out in the same space as people. Like, I was thinking about this and I'm like, Zoe's birthday was just a week ago. And she's, my dog daughter, and I miss her. And so I see pictures of her posted on, online, and I'm like, oh, I was
nice.
Like, and there's a gorgeous rescue pit bull locally named Bella that had been rescued as a puppy, and then they had to bring her back. There were problems in the home. It's really kind of a sad story, but she's so beautiful. And I was like, oh, like, and I'm like, if I could just hang out, do you know what I mean? Like, just hang with friends, have a couple drinks, cook on the grill, play cards late at night, like just, and that's nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, but for everyone's well-being and sake and safety of others, not doing that, not going out and doing a whole bunch of things. So yeah, it's
again, like we keep saying, I keep saying it's the new normal for right now. FYI, IML has announced that they're moving to September, and that's still tentative. It's been set, but it's again still tentative. Claw moved to November. Things are moving and changing and shifting, and that's also probably has that whole cabin fever aspect to it because events are canceling or postponing because of the uncertainty. So like doing what you can or doing what you want or doing anything really is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, even hanging out with friends, like you said, is a matter of health. Like, I'm like you, Gary. I would love, like, we normally have every other Monday night, we go out with two other friends of ours to dinner. Like, that's a thing that we've been doing for months, and we haven't been able to do it for several, weeks now. And it it's a simple little thing that we were doing that now you can't, and it's kind of like, well, fuck. Like, it was just to catch up with each other and just to socialize and just to like have, communion, as it were. It's not the greatest thing. It's especially for some of us who are more social butterflies, as it were.
And while there are ways to kind of work around that, such as if you go to dinner with some friends on occasion, you could instead, both of you make dinner at home and then do a Skype call on a laptop or something to do it. But it's not the same. There's just something about having that physical presence, which is to make that connection. So while there is workarounds and you can socialize, it's just different and distancing and less personal, you could say. That's where things are really coming in. So just because it's like, well, we haven't done this, well, you could, it's just not going to be the same. It's just it's not going to satisfy that need for doing it. So I could definitely understand that. Personally don't care, but because I'm home body isolation, I'd be happy to do it online. But but that's me. That's my little like homebody introverted person sort of thing. But anyways,
shall we?
Yes. Let me do a thing here quickly here, just so I can. Let's get right into this. So Gary, what's been going on in the Instagrams? Skip Facebooks.
Oops. I forgot to check Facebook. So anyways, in Instagram land, which is owned by Facebook, we got some new followers this past month. We would like to thank Eddie Hausdorff, Muntsman, The Bear 1701, Gabriel Majors. Wonder who she is. Fozzie Bear, and Jan Pierre Luckman, or Jan Pierre Luckman, I'm not sure which, for following us on Instagram.
Yay.
And if you follow us on Instagram and you're listening or watching, I apologize right now because I just caught us up on like almost a month and a half of missing posts. So y'all just got lambasted for all sorts of things.
Issues with trying to auto post to it from our blog. So
yeah.
Damon,
So
about the
welcome,
YouTubes.
Guys. We got 2 new subscribers on YouTube. Don Chappie 1, and then again Jean Pierre Luckman, or Jan Pierre. I'm going to say Jean Pierre Luckman. Welcome to YouTube.
And over in the Twitters, we've got This Is Your Mind, Like Income 92, and somebody named Owen _Ragnari. Not sure who that is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either.
Anyways, Gary, tell us about what happened last month.
So it's been a bit since we were on. We did I forgot to put it in here. My bad. Wait, hold on. There we go. I was like, wait, I'm missing an episode. So we had What's Going On for the month of March. Then we took a week off and we did Seawell Flashback 012 to Nakia Rama, which was kind of fun. And then we had Cubses join us. Tony was on. We did Let's Talk About Kink Gear Part 1. So pay attention because Part 2 is coming soon. And then we talked about the interesting politicalness in an episode called The Blood Ban, where we talked about how the FDA changed the requirements, or not the requirements, the limitations around donation of blood and blood products. They changed it the end of April to individuals that have sex with men. Let me rephrase that, because I'm like, that doesn't include women in that way. if you are known to have sex with a man who has had sex with men, then there needs to be a 3-month window before you can donate blood. Same thing with tattoos and piercings. Individuals that are on certain types of medicines, had medical procedures. Like, it's a whole thing, but we've mostly focused on the MSM aspect of it and how like some people are pretty still up in arms. And I am surprised, segue or like sidebar, there's these attorney generals across the country, including my very own, that is like, this is unconstitutional, it's discrimination, it's homophobia, and they're going off on this whole thing, and I'm sitting here like,
You're just looking at this now?
well, no, it's not that, Jeff. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, yeah, but we just did a whole episode on it and we discussed it, and there's some logic behind the 3-month window. So I'm now torn because the gay man, that I am in identification is like hell yes, like down with homophobia. And then the other part of me, who's a public health educator who did this work and that read into things and understands how testing works and all these concepts. And I'm like, I get why there's a 3-month window and I'm okay with it. I'm like, I don't know if maybe I'm sort of in the wrong, or there's a whole lot of people that need educating on why they're, and unfortunately getting bent out of shape on something that is not really what they think.
Yeah.
So more to come probably on that in the future. Because I believe like there's some rabble rousing about having the ACLU like take up a legal fight and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know about that.
I think that if anything, the 3 is fair for their logics and based off of what studies they've had and everything. The complete permanent ban was definitely homophobic, everything. 12-month, you're getting better. And now 3 months, we're like, okay, understandable, because 3 months, because maybe there wouldn't be any systems or won't necessarily test positive yet or something. The gestation period to get to the point where you would actually be able to detect it, that sort of thing. Okay, I can understand that. So 3 months is kind of the more reasonable. Maybe not necessarily ideal for a lot of people, but it's okay. I get where you're coming from. So anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difficulty is people want it to be no restriction. And I'm like, well, that's not really practical. I mean, I'll work it out this way. Is it possible to do it? Yes, but you have to create all these other systems to account for the fact that people will be in window period, as we say, where you could test and be falsely negative because you haven't produced enough in your body of the virus or the antigens, like any of the RNA pieces. Like we would just have this really bad section of time where we can't really know definitively whether or not you're positive. So yes, we could like have everybody, donate, but then we'd probably have to shelve all that inventory and wait and then go back and test it at a certain point at 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, like whatever we could get the soonest based on the technology of testing, and then see whether or not it's viable to donate. And I don't think our blood supply quite works that way. I'm not saying it's an immediate use kind of thing, but like, I think there's just so much more complex to it that people aren't really paying attention to. And so I understand like the principle of the legal political aspect and being like, I'm being discriminated against. It's homophobia. It's unfair. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really a good standard reply statement or rebuttal anymore. Because no offense, the lifetime ban is gone, has been since December 2015. And now we moved it to 3 months. So we're making progress, and I think it's more about people just being cranky and bent out of shape because it's not what they want.
And it's also not just MSM. It is also women who have sex with MSM, as well as things that don't even deal with that, tattoos and piercings. Right. So it's not just this group. It's just one of a bunch of different groups that have it. So it's not just MSMs. So
right. I think
gotta look at the bigger picture.
For many, though, I think the other issue is is the same happening for heterosexuals. Like that's kind of where I think where some of this is lying. Are they because it's not just, I get what you're saying, but I'm thinking it's not just gay men that are passing along any sexually transmitted infections. It's also heterosexual people. So again,
So it should
I know
should
we
instead
talked about
just
this
be for
in
this group. It should be for everybody.
yeah, I understand that we talked about this, at length in the last, the episode. So, but that's kind of where I think other people are coming from.
Mm. Okay.
Right.
Is that because if it's all about like standard infection and not wanting to have the blood that was infected get through or pass through certain things, then it should be for everyone. Like you should not no one who has had sex in the past 3 months, consensually, extramaritally, whatever, should you need to not have sex for 3 months before you donate blood. Like I think that's where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. So
I want to answer real quick Lloyd's question in the live chat. He said, how long can blood be stored for? So the quick answers are red blood cells are stored in refrigerators at 6 degrees Celsius for up to 42 days. So that's 6 weeks. Platelets can be stored at room temperature in an agitator for up to 5 days. Plasma and cryofreezing is possible for up to 1 year as a long-term storage solution. However, it's relatively uncommon because, as anybody would probably know, freezing damages anything that is not in a frozen state previously. So, like, you can put like blood product into freeze possibly up to 10 years, but you have to put what's called a glycol solution or an antifreeze. There's like it's kind of complicated. So like the broad basic quick answer is 5 days to 42 days. So that's not a very long time, and that's why I think the whole blood drive thing became an issue in the US, because so many donation drives got canceled because of the pandemic. And that makes sense as to why the longer the lock-in stay-at-home orders, the lockdowns, all that kind of stuff affects the blood supply, because the longer we can't have these donation activities, the quicker we get to running like really scarcely.
Yeah.
And so that being said, and because we have this like antibody testing issue with HIV, and it could be up to that 6 weeks to 8 weeks for things to definitively appear, I can see now why like it's holding something, then retesting it. Like I think those are things that people just are not necessarily aware of. And I don't know like if that'll come along or not. No offense, the CDC is really busy at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I can't imagine why.
I don't know. Yeah. So, and then just last week with COL551, speaking of COVID, our resident sex therapist, Edward Angelini Cook, came back, and we discussed about sex needs in this time, and gave some offerings and ideas of, consideration about, how to handle, no pun intended.
Everybody's thirsty. So here's a way to quench your thirst, or at least, get you some hydration.
Well, and... Yeah, I mean, like,
come on.
The difficulty is sex is rarely just sex. Like, I will say this, for MSM, there's two main things that happen. There's penetration, which is the big one that most lay persons like that are not MSM, I think of. And there's oral. But I think most often, like when you're having a physical interaction with another person and the whole end game is an orgasm or orgasms, like I don't think it just restricts to that. More often than not, there's a lot of other things. Like I think there's some foreplay and some, version of that, and that requires more bodily contact, that requires more shared space. Like, I mean, there's just it's not easy, Sure, if everybody had glory holes, and could minimize exposure and wear respirators and really up their cake play and they're just day to day trying to get a nut, maybe it could be more safe. But I don't know about that. So
Not everybody's into that.
right, and so I will say this: it's so conflicting. It's difficult as a public health educator now to be like telling people that they shouldn't have sex. The reality is that they can have sex, but there's so many steps and measurements you have to go through to be safe in this time. Like, is it possible? Yes. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I will say, like, I don't know how many people are that educated to go through all the things, you know?
Yeah.
And like, and I mean, this is kind of like, here's an example of a possibility, but it takes a lot of like awareness and knowledge. Could two people have sex with each other who are both COVID-19 positive and no longer symptomatic? Absolutely. That's kind of parallel and echoes to a time when we didn't have the drugs that we have, the medications now. And so HIV positive individuals felt that they could only have sex with other HIV positive individuals. Even then, that was risky because there are different strains of HIV. And so not necessarily as someone who's positive is identical to someone else who's positive. That's a whole other thing. Yeah. So COVID-19 notably has, I think, between 8 and 11 strains right now. They're all very similar to each other. So there's not too much of a concern about like reinfection or new infection from a different strain. Like, we're not seeing that. I'm going to knock on something and wood, thank you. So we're okay. So is it possible? Yes. But the likelihood, like, who really is going to know that? You know, there's a lot of trust in other stuff. So
yeah,
it's very challenging. And I will say this, recently on Twitter, which we're going to get to in a moment, there have been a lot of posts of new sex devices that apparently have come on the market. No pun intended. Girl, I saw one the other day that was promoted. It is like 60% off right now. It is very shiny. It makes noise. It apparently responds to audio. It vibrates. It oscillates. It moves up and down, has LED lights, and a suction cup base. I'm like, what is this thing?
So it's a mini fuck machine, or
it's a masturbation device that costs a couple $100, and it does all these things. And I'm just like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for like the imitation dick sucker. Like, I'm at the white party. I'm kind of, I don't know how I feel about this. Very intrigued, but I'm like, this is an expensive thing. Like, and like, I'm kind of like, I hate to say this, but we live in such a disposable age. I'm like, how many people really know that other people have that? It could be like, hey, can I borrow that? Can I take it for the first time? You know, because I'm not sure I want to plug down $300 for this device. That may be the most best thing ever.
Is there a trial period? Can I have this for a week? And maybe if I'm not satisfied, like
right,
get a refund. Like
most toys don't work that way. Most toys don't have a refund policy unless it is an unopened package. So I'm like, but I saw a video of this thing and I was like, what am I? Okay, that's the thing.
I know what you're talking about.
And I was just like,
it is. And because I saw it too, and I'm just like,
huh?
Maybe no. Wait,
that's a lot. That's a lot going on right there. Like with your junk, and I'm like, and that is not discreet. Not that you need discreet, but yeah, I was like, I just
well, it's all in your own home, so.
Well, no, and I agree with that. Although I do have to laugh, and I have to say this: did you guys see? Did you see the picture of the destroyed wall with the suction cup dildo? Oh my god! For those that haven't seen it,
week 6 of quarantine.
Yeah.
Gave people's walls after quarantine, like just like all these like
12 holes showing like the insides of the walls because the suction's so good. And I was like, It made me laugh. I was like, that's a problem.
Anyway.
Uh-oh. Lloyd, product reviews? Maybe. I don't know. If anybody would like to sponsor us and send products, we'd be happy to talk about them. We would need 3 anyway.
One for each person. Anyways. Yeah, and by the way, our resident sex therapist now has a shirt that officially deems him the COL's sex therapist.
Did we share that on the Cubs Out Loud page?
You know what? I don't think we did.
Nope.
I didn't.
Okay.
That'll probably be something in the future. But as of right now, let's get right into this. Copyright claim. Anyways. I mean, it happens pretty much every week for COLDR, but you know, whatever.
Of course it does.
So my pick of a tweet is from one of our favorites, Chicago Cigar Daddy or Dad, Pig Laundry.
Oh, I think I remember this one.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's doing laundry with a mask. This guy has a pig snout on it. He's absolutely
and nothing else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a coin-operated laundry machine.
Yep. In the slot.
Just saying.
Yeah. He is not shy.
Having
oink,
been
daddy.
in his presence with Damon, I can confirm that statement.
Yes. Yep. We have confirmation. Definitely have confirmation. And that's all I'm going to say. I have seen, and I have. It is so weird because I know he is usually pretty friendly. I have seen him at a couple events. I have yet to talk to him. It is. I will own it is a personal intimidation factor because he hits like a whole bunch of buttons for me, and yeah, but like I've pretty much seen his entire body, like because of all the pictures he posts.
I was just gonna say, how could you not?
Anyway, but yes, but I'm still very much like I just don't. I don't know, but God bless him. Thank you for being the exhibitionist that you are, and sharing your self with everyone.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oink oink, daddy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Damon?
Mine is very simple. Sparta Cubs is back. If you followed Sparta Cubs on Tumblr, he has recently, I think within the last month, jumped onto the bandwagon of Twitter, and he is posting pictures of himself, which is what this is. If you look at this picture, you'll recognize him from, if you followed me or Gary, I think even Jeff on Tumblr, you probably saw his pictures before, because he is a super sexy man, and yeah. And this is it says sweatpants all day, or sweatpants all day, and yeah. I would love to see that flopping around in some gray sweatpants. Just saying. But he is back. He is not Sparta Cubs on Twitter. He is the real Max Hendo on Twitter.
And you can basically go in the show notes, click the link, and it'll take you to his profiles. Take you to the tweet, which you can then use to follow him.
Yep. And and if you want to follow him on Instagram, he is at Pontifex Maximus.
Which is also linked on his Twitter account. So,
Yep. There you go.
plenty of ways to get connected there.
Mm-hmm. So nice to see him again. Gary?
So my tweet is titled "Thick Thighs Something Something." Just a mere 2 days ago, one of the long-term lusts of mine online posted this amazing picture of him in a bathroom in just a t-shirt and socks. I think he's put a couple of pounds on since he got his man and got married. I'm just gonna say, and I'm okay with it because, yeah.
Yep.
Part Wolf is someone who has always been a distraction, I should say, of mine.
So for those who don't remember, I'm going to go ahead and say this, if you don't remember, he has been a follower of Cubs Out Loud. He is the one that gave us the infamous underwear, whitey tighties with Cubs Out Loud written on them. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, yeah.
And he was pedestal number 3.
How did we have him tagged? Yeah, Mark.
Yeah.
Which if you go to cubsoutloud.com and click on COL pedestal, it's right in there.
Yep.
Our
Mr. Mark.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm actually going to add another one here real quick. Because I did not know about this account. And now that I do, I got to go and find. This is what happens when we're live and not prepared. Go back. Where are we going? Come on. There we go. Okay, so let's click on this one and then. So, did y'all know that a certain Daddy Bear is on Twitter and has recently started posting things?
You're gonna have to be more specific there.
Hang on, I'm trying to get the title right. Someone that we all listed after, and here's your hint. He's our very first pedestal.
Oh.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
That is right. I just found that this morning.
I know. That's
Daddy
why
Bear
I was like,
hold on. Follow.
So, children's, the Daddy Bear of some of our dreams, Venice Cub, aka Daddy Hadrian's daddy, from years ago, has been on Twitter for a while, since last summer apparently, but very rarely post anything until the lockdown recently, and he's been doing this retrospective of him in his adult entertainment career. But Lord Almighty, is he fine as hell still to this day. And his graying beard and belly and oh my God, just
and
wow.
He still got that dick.
Well, of course he does.
It's beautiful. I'm just saying, so glad. That was again. That was a. Gosh, I don't even know. Are you reading the chat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Point 100 to 1. Carrie is talking about Metascope. Called it.
Yeah. This who it might have been Sparta. I have a feeling it was Sparta Cubs that posted a, like one of the videos on Venice Cub's page, and I was just like, wait a minute. Ooh,
Hold
what?
up.
Oh, and hold up, hold on. And I go and I click his page and I check and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this must be you. And oh, thank God. Hallelujah. Thank the Lord.
By the way, I'm just gonna say this for the record because it cracks me up to no end. So Twitter does this cute little thing where,
Mm-hmm.
like, you're looking at a picture, or something, and then you're scrolling through the comments, and that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get it to pop up again. It makes me. Oh no. You get a little thing that says like there are comments that may be potentially offensive, and then you click the show more button, and I'm like, duh. Because it's usually like in this case, the comment is, "Let me suck your dick, daddy." Like, okay, so just that can be offensive, but I am okay with that. Like,
I am fine with that.
yeah,
Lord.
cracks me up. Twitter's like, this might be potentially offensive, and I'm like, I'm sure a bunch of people were like, yes, please.
I would happily watch that. Let me look at that. Okay.
So there's the pic.
Thank you for sharing the love of Venice Cub. Who, by the way, if you look at his profile, he now lives in Denver. FYI. Just putting it out there.
Yes, he moved to Denver a couple of years ago from California, because I remember Hadrian talking about that and how Venice had kind of just stepped away from the scene. He's happily partnered, I believe, married, and they're just doing their thing. So,
Yeah.
but things. Who knows what could happen? I mean, John Thomas came back to the scene, and Hadrian has said that he hasn't ruled it out completely, but it's more of a he likes quality content kind of. And I'm like, if y'all want to relive getting back together, I don't care about plot for a reunion. I'm just saying.
just let's just put Hadrian and Venice Cub
On a boat.
No. Just
they
put
don't-
them in a room.
Yeah.
Just put them in a room, and just let them just go at it.
Just do your thing. We'll sit
Yeah.
back and watch.
Well, do each other's things, actually. But
Just fuck. Like,
Well,
and
just
we
think
will
of
have
Venice Cub nowadays, and then think of like the last time we saw Daddy Hadrian in
I'm
his
just
like
saying.
big bushy beard and
Mhm.
thing. Very different from the last time I saw those two together.
They were together, and that's fine with me. Like I have okay. So God bless it.
Anyways,
I
moving on. Before we get too far into a rabbit
Damon's
hole.
all flustered.
yeah.
Let's move away from porn and go into the links. So I've been watching a lot of High Rollers, and they've got a lot of content on their YouTube channel. But I'm just recommending the entire thing just because they're fun Brits playing D&D.
Nice.
So I was going to go for their series, A Rogue's Gambit, which is them playing a version of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. But then I'm like, oh no, let's go with something still that's probably a little bit funnier, which is their one shot of Dungeon of the Mad Mark. Mark Sherlock Holmes is the dungeon master, so that's where Mark comes from. And they were doing a one shot where they were doing a meat grinder version of a dungeon where each of the players had 3 characters. And they were going into a dungeon which would most likely kill them, which they did. And this was during the Yogscast Jingle Jam, which is a Christmas time thing they do. And so they were getting donations. So they all started as level 1. And once they reach a certain goal in donations, they could level up if they survive. But when a new character comes in, they don't start at whatever level they were leveled up to previously. They start at 1 again.
Wow.
So it's them trying to go through a dungeon. They had a certain amount of time to try to complete the dungeon. And every time they leveled up, they were only given a certain amount of time to do the level up.
Oh, God.
They were on D&D Beyond, so kind of made it a little bit easier to level up. Just kind of go in, switch levels, and maybe make a selection in something. And it was Mark just being as evil as he possibly could. Which was kind of the point. Let's kill everybody off. So I thought it was pretty fun. Again, kind of recommending all their content. They're on their second campaign for their main show, but they've got their version of Tomb of Annihilation, as I said, the Dragon Heist one, and they also they did a miniseries of kind of a prequel to Tomb of Annihilation. So they've done some sort of series. They've got a whole series of one-shots, which is currently where I am watching it. And I'll probably go back and get caught up in there. They also just recently started doing a secondary stream of running The Curse of Strahd, which is one of the earlier ones. So if you want to see Brits playing D&D and a lot goofier than Critical Role, I will say, but still with some serious moments.
And if I'm not, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but Mark Humes has actually been on Critical Role.
Yep.
He came on
He played
the campaign too.
In fact, High Rollers was inspired by Critical Role. Because Mark saw Critical Role, kind of wanted to do it. Yogs Cast had an open slot. They were like, "Oh, hey, let's do a D&D stream," and then it became popular. So now they're on 2 campaigns that they've been doing stuff for Wizards. Their mini series where they were doing Tomb of Annihilation, Dragon Heist. That was all stuff that was on the D&D Twitch channel. And these are like instead of voice actors, these are like real people playing it. So if you want something,
these are players. These are players, and FYI, Mark is adorable. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Have you seen him when he shaved his face?
I don't care. I don't care. He's cute. He's a cutie. Anyway, moving right along.
It's fun. So, High Rollers, check them out. Damon.
So I actually have Mr. Edward Angelini Cook to thank for this link. It is the Brothers Platt. So Ben Platt, you will probably know from Pitch Perfect and Dear Evan Hansen. It's his 2 brothers and him singing a traditional Jewish song, Ahavat Olam, if I said that correctly. And it gave me goosebumps. Like, it's so fucking good. And just listen to it. It's amazing. They harmonize so well. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Like, it's a great little, quick little 3-4 minute video of some beautiful vocals. So check it out.
Gary?
Yeah, mine's simple.
So my 2 picks for this past month are things that I'm sort of become obsessed with. Some people might call them porn in a fashion, oddly. So I got Disney Plus. I signed up for a subscription last year. when they had a big announcement, but before they went live. So this must have been like maybe August in the summer or something. And I have not regretted it since. And what's crazy about it is like I am going for all the original content for the most part. I'm not like really going for the nostalgia unlocked from the vault stuff. I mean, I've seen a little bit of things, and I have a whole bunch of stuff saved to watch on my list on there, but I'm just not getting to that. So that being said,
cheap.
Relatively cheap, yeah. So Disney Plus has the Star Wars: The Clone Wars final series, season 7, that's been posting. You may already be well aware if you're annoyed with people online posting about it. They're wrapping up the entire series. Season 7 was pre-slated to happen, and then when Lucasfilm was bought by Disney, it got stopped. But the fan base really kind of rabbled around and like got them to reconsider, and so they came up with a series of episodes. It's not all the original stories they had, but it's pretty amazing. And the last 4 are like a whole movie in and of themselves. They're all dedicated to the crossover between the animated series and the actual live action film Revenge of the Sith. We are at that point now where the Emperor, executes Order 66. It's some of the best animated cinema I've ever seen, and I don't really watch any of it, but it is just downright amazing. And the final episode is coming up tomorrow, on May the 4th. And
what perfect day to do it.
Yes. So normally the new episodes, they've been releasing them on a week. And so they were all on Friday nights, or on Fridays, I should say. And I usually watch them on Friday night. But tomorrow on May the 4th, Disney Plus will have not only the last episode of the series, they will also have the most recent Star Wars film. So officially tomorrow, you will be able to watch everything except for the holiday special in the Star Wars production history kind of canon. So you will be able to watch all the movies if you wanted to. Yeah, because the Rise of Skywalker is coming to Disney Plus starting tomorrow. There's all these like watch shows and all this stuff, but this most recent episode of the Clone Wars was so cinematically beautiful for an animated film. It was only like 26 minutes long. I watched it twice back to back. It's true cinema because it's quiet. They spend seconds, and in animated you don't really get that. Like a lot of animated is busy action. There are just moments where nothing is being said. Like you're just hearing the music or other things. And you get to see and understand some key critical tie-in stuff that, like, if you only watched the films, you had no idea this other stuff was going on. It is wrapping up and handling some loose ends. I know it's not perfect because some people have some criticisms, but, if you never knew that Anakin, who becomes Darth Vader, had a Padawan, and you've wondered, like, how the hell did they make a whole series off of it? You find out in the very end how, like, this ended and basically why she never existed before. It's amazing and heart-wrenching at the same time. It's just, I can't get over how beautiful this ending is. And now apparently fans are requesting of Lucasfilm and Disney that when social distancing and the COVID thing kind of ends, that in movie theaters, they take these last 4 episodes and turn them into a movie for the big screen, because the way they've been cut and for production, I have a feeling this might have been an idea because the beginning doesn't have a crawl or a narrator or anything. And yeah, it's crazy, crazy good. So in addition to that, if you have not seen it, starting May 1st on Disney Plus, there's a show called Prop Culture. It's really great behind the scenes about props that were used in Disney films. Each episode is focused on a film. There's this guy who's kind of your MC narrator in a way, who is a collector himself. I don't know if he's a bear, but he looks like one. He's a big old mountain of a dude with a beard. He has a daughter. You find out at the end of episode 3, I think, which is fine. Or is it episode 1 maybe? but I was like, I couldn't tell. I was kind of like, I don't know what the story is. Now, the reason why this really came up on my radar is two things. I like the behind the scenes shit. And if anybody knows who Matt Goad is, very well known in some bear circles, previously lived in St. Louis. His partner, Hayden, unfortunately passed away unexpectedly. And it was really, really difficult for everybody who knew them. And Matt is doing well. He is, moving on with his life. And part of it is that he moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is because of the show. He was a production assistant on it.
Oh.
He's credited for it. His mom did a still frame of their TV screen to shout out on social media that like her son was a PA on this show on Disney Plus. Like it's just so proud. Awesome stuff. And Matt Goad is part of like 30 something digital. They did the Jake Bakes series. You guys got to see any of that with Jake Tackett. That sexy motherfucker. And what I'm just gonna say, a man who can bake and looks like sexy and probably is a good romp. What more do you want? Just saying. Yeah, I mean, and they're still doing the 30 something digital like spoilers like podcast kind of thing. So, and Matt's adorable. He's like a pocket cub, and all that jazz. So, and I have friends that are affiliated with him, so it's great. But I recommend if you're interested. And I don't know if they're doing any specials right now with Disney Plus. I know Apple TV apparently has some special stuff going on. If you buy an Apple device, I'm not sure what kind of devices, but if you buy an Apple device, you can get Apple TV Plus for free for a year. So there's potentials to entertain you during this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are my two picks on the Disney front. Because honestly, I haven't really watched anything on Netflix recently.
Neither have I, but I also am not subscribed to Netflix currently. But I've been watching YouTube this entire time. I haven't even watched anything on Disney Plus, but it sounds like I'll have some content waiting for me on Disney Plus to watch. But well worth the $7 a month that Disney Plus is. Cheap. Even though I didn't watch anything during the entire month of April in there. But, whatever. Anyways, guess what, folks? That's the end. Aw. Playways to contact us. Pop over to our website at cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, sexy or otherwise, at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can even call it and just breathe heavily if you wanted to, I suppose.
Oh, God.
You can follow us on various social media outlets on Instagram, which is finally caught up, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube with Cubs Out Loud in the appropriate place of the URL. You can join us in the Entourage chat where sometimes Bean shows up. Bellies. In cosplay. Just think.
And bellies. And dick.
That too. At tinyurl.com/telegram-col. You can find out when we usually schedule these shows at tinyurl.com/calendar-col. Starting next month, we'll be in the evenings in the U.S. time, so sorry, all you UK people who come join us. You can get various merchandise, such as, hey, we're all wearing something today. I got Proud Out Loud. We've got the version 3 shirt that Damon is wearing. Got to make sure I'm pointing to the right direction. We've got the Consensus Foreplay shirts in various styles that Gary is wearing, or hats. There's mugs. There's suit mugs. There's a whole bunch of things. And remember, you can also customize these things too.
A quick question, David, is that a new shirt for you?
No. Okay. This was one of the first ones I bought. I just haven't worn it in a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, somebody got a nice reddish orange kind of colored shirt. I was like, I thought maybe you got that recently.
No, it's my burgundy one that I bought, the very first one. It's I don't wear it as much because it's technically it's extra large and it's a little small.
Okay.
Not too small, but just
it's tight fitting.
It's perfect for podcasts where you just see this much.
As I said, you could also customize things like I did with Edward Angelini Cook shirt, where I put on the back COL sex therapist Edward Angelini Cook. You could do the same thing. So basically, you get a base design, and then you can customize it how you want to. So, and remember, you can go to different locations. So all you UK people who are currently in the chat can go to the UK store and purchase it in the UK for pounds instead of dollars. But it still comes back to us. So you can also subscribe to us on Patreon, or if you would like to do just a direct donation, you can also go to paypal.me/cubsoutloud or click the donate link on the website. You can rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us through Google Play Podcasts or Spotify. Find me anywhere on the internet as Boxnet, Box Cubby, Box Cub, Box, something or other.
You can find me as Theater Cub 79 on most bear related sites and on Facebook, or you can find me as pup_umbra on Twitter.
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gabber73. Any medium that you kind of reach out to me, but just shoot me a message so I know who the hell you is. Like someone recently sent me a message on Twitter and was like, hey, like I just started following you. If you want to follow me back. And I was like, I don't know who this is. So then I had to go to their profile and then check it out and be like, oh, I do know you. I just don't know your online nickname. But after some pictures, I was well acquainted with who they are. So,
or you say, hey, just following you, listen to you on the podcast.
Right.
Then we know you're a fan at least. We don't know you personally. In any case, with that, take it out, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.